Welcome to my channel. If you've enjoyed watching one or two of our videos and haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button now for more captivating stories like this. Don't miss a single story. The story starts in this world. The boundaries between virtual gaming and reality have blurred, giving rise to new professions and opportunities for individuals. People have the ability to switch professions in order to gain more powerful abilities. The world is filled with countless ruins, dungeons, and mysterious realms. However, it is also overrun with dangerous monsters that pose a threat to anyone who crosses their path. In order to strengthen themselves, individuals can hunt and defeat these monsters to acquire experience points, materials, and equipment. Among the various formidable creatures, the dragons stand out as awe-inspiring beings, possessing immense power akin to that of deities. In the third school of the Dragon Kingdom, where a teacher energetically strikes the board, announcing the commencement of the awakening orientation for the junior year, Section 25 Professions. The teacher emphasizes the importance of the professional awakening ceremony, as it not only affects the student's ability to pass the university entrance exam but also impacts their future success. Some students are engrossed in their own thoughts, while others attentively listen to the teacher's words. According to the teacher, although the outcome of profession awakening is theoretically random, he encourages the students to have confidence in themselves. He believes that with strong determination, each student has the potential to awaken a combative profession. Among the students, there is a young man with long hair and hidden eyes. He gazes at the paper on his desk, which indicates that he will be taking the Profession Awakening Aptitude Test. A smile forms on his face, for he knows that his long-awaited day has finally arrived. This young man is Luffin, a person who found himself transported to this world from a place known as Blue Planet 3 years ago. Over the course of these 3 years, Luffin had gained a comprehensive understanding of the world he found himself in. He discovered that there were numerous professions available, which could be broadly classified into 3 main types. At the top tier were the combative professionals, including warriors, mages, archers, and others. These individuals possessed formidable abilities that they utilized to explore uncharted realms, acquire equipment, and receive generous rewards. As a result, the combative professions held great appeal and were highly sought after. The next category consisted of the reinforcing professionals, such as enchanters and alchemists. They possessed the skill to create special items with powerful effects. However, due to the significant expenses involved in purchasing materials, they often relied on the support of affluent families to nurture their talents. At the bottom of the professional hierarchy were the subsistence professions, such as chefs, herbalists, miners, and the like. These occupations provided a livelihood for the majority of ordinary individuals who worked diligently to make ends meet. Luffin's aunt, Han Kei, for example, was a chef who tirelessly ran a small steamed bun shop to support Luffin's education, despite being only 8 years older than him. Her selfless dedication inspired him to strive for a better life and survival in this world. Luffin made a firm decision that in order to thrive and provide a better future for his aunt, he must awaken as a combative professional. Just as he reached this determination, the teacher's phone suddenly rang, interrupting the class. The teacher hastily announced that the awakening platform had been built, signifying that the awakening ceremony was about to commence. Excitement surged through the classroom as the students realized that their moment to shine had finally arrived. While everyone hurried towards the awakening platform, Luffin remained seated in the corner. The teacher approached him, concerned about his apparent lack of urgency. Given that Luffin was the top student in their section, the teacher assured him that there was no need to be anxious. However, the reason for Luffin's demeanor was entirely different. Suddenly, Luffin had awakened a system that congratulated him and revealed that he had obtained the Super Treasure Map system, which had finally been activated. Confused by the sudden turn of events, Luffin struggled to comprehend what was happening. In the midst of his confusion, the teacher slammed the desk, startling Luffin and causing the system to disappear. Observing the teacher's worry, Luffin quickly reassured him and sprinted towards the awakening platform. As he descended the stairs, he realized that it was about time for a transmigrator like himself to acquire a system. However, due to the teacher's interruption, he hadn't been able to grasp the purpose or function of his newly awakened system. Deciding to ponder it later, Luffin prioritized the upcoming awakening ceremony, considering it more important in the present moment. Upon reaching the awakening platform, the students were captivated by the crystal at its center, which played a crucial role in the ceremony. Nervousness filled the air, but the teacher instructed them to maintain silence. Amidst the bustling crowd of students, Luffin overheard someone expressing their hopes of awakening a hidden combative profession, envisioning themselves becoming a powerful figure admired by millions. However, another friend of Luffin's reminded him to snap out of such dreams, as hidden combative professions were incredibly rare throughout the entire school. Instead, they suggested that being content with a subsistence profession and offering prayers to their ancestors would bring them happiness. The Grand Master ascended the podium, announcing to the students that the awakening ceremony was about to commence. He gestured towards a priest who would oversee this year's ceremony. The students were taken aback by the priest's commanding aura, yearning to attain such a level of power themselves. Luffin, too, was astonished by the overwhelming presence of the combative professional, as it surpassed anything he had witnessed before. Suddenly, Luffin's system displayed a notification, indicating that he had acquired a new skill, the Eye of Appraisal. Intrigued, he clicked on the icon and directed his attention towards the priest. Through the Eye of Appraisal, he discovered that the priest was a level 29 professional with the ability to perform professional awakening. Additionally, the priest possessed a net worth of 5 million dragon coins. Luffin was deeply shaken upon realizing the vast wealth associated with the priest. However, the headmaster's shout abruptly silenced the students, signaling that the awakening ceremony had already begun. He instructed them to approach the stage when their names were called. Amidst the proceedings, Luffin couldn't help but contemplate the fact that even if his aunt sold buns for their entire lives, they would never accumulate as much wealth as the priest possessed. As the headmaster began calling out the names of the students one by one, the first to be called was Zhang Dao, the top student in their section. Luffin wondered if Zhang Dao would awaken as a combative professional. The students engaged in discussions, speculating that with Zhang Dao's exceptionally high attributes, he was almost guaranteed to awaken as a combative professional. While the awakening process was inherently random, it was commonly believed that individuals with higher attributes had a greater likelihood of awakening as combative professionals. The allure of Zhang Dao had the girls swooning, expressing their love and admiration for him. As Zhang Dao ascended the stage, the priest began enchanting spells, and a glowing orb emitted a fireball, indicating that Zhang Dao had awakened as a pyromancer. The students were now astounded, realizing they had a remarkable pyromancer in their midst. Envy consumed them, as they envisioned Zhang Dao's promising future. With a smirk, Zhang Dao materialized a fireball in his hands, further captivating the girls who found him even more attractive. They clamored for his attention, asking him out on dates. Observing this, Luffin understood that awakening as a combative professional would provide an escape from his current struggles. The headmaster grew frustrated with the chatter and once again demanded silence from the students. He swiftly called the next student to the stage as the professional awakening ceremony proceeded. Students awakened professions such as herbalists, tailors, miners, and more. Luffin witnessed firsthand that combative professions were indeed in the minority, while the majority of students would end up with subsistence professions. Awakening as a combative professional symbolized boundless possibilities for their future. While most people awakened as subsistence professionals and proceeded to lead ordinary lives, a student ahead of Luffin pointed out that awakening as a subsistence professional was still considered a favorable outcome. They mentioned Liling from Section 3, whose family was already struggling, and now she had awakened as a reinforcing professional, requiring substantial financial resources to practice her craft. For her, awakening as a subsistence professional would have granted her at least some specialized skills. Luffin's gaze fell upon a girl, causing his anxiety to rise. He couldn't help but worry about his own struggling family and the potential consequences of awakening as a reinforcing professional. Just as the weight of his concerns set in, Luffin heard his name being called by the headmaster, urging him to swiftly approach the platform. As Luffin made his way towards the pedestal, the girls couldn't help but notice his handsome appearance, sparking curiosity about the profession he would awaken. Reaching the crystal, Luffin realized that being nervous at this point was futile. Placing his hands upon the crystal, the priest began his enchantments once again. Suddenly, Luffin found himself in a vision, confronted by a red dragon with fierce, glowing yellow eyes. Meanwhile, the students were gripped by shock as the land trembled, leaving them bewildered about the unfolding events. Golden light radiated from the awakening crystal, enveloping Luffin from all sides. In a breathtaking spectacle, a dragon materialized and emerged from the light. The students and teachers understood that this phenomenon only occurred when a hidden profession was awakened. Amidst the astonishment, a female teacher praised Teacher Li, recognizing that his section had produced the school's first hidden professional. Even the teacher acknowledged the potential significance of Luffin awakening as the strongest hidden professional, such as a dragon blood warrior or a David Invoke mage. It meant that Luffin could become a formidable force in the Dragon Kingdom, shaping his own history. On the screens, a magnificent red dragon filled the display, engulfed in fierce, red flames. Teacher Lee mentioned to the lady that it had been a decade since someone awakened as a dragon blood warrior, and that person had risen to become a top-tier expert in the Dragon Kingdom. The teacher couldn't contain their happiness, envisioning the possibility of Luffin awakening as a dragon blood warrior. Meanwhile, the dragon fixed its gaze upon Luffin and let out a deafening roar, causing the students to shield themselves from the impact of its powerful voice. As the dragon flew away and vanished, the headmaster hurriedly approached Luffin, eagerly asking if he had awakened as a dragon blood warrior or a David Invoke mage. However, to everyone's astonishment, Luffin sighed and revealed that he had become a Dragon Tamer. The revelation left everyone in a state of shock, including the headmaster, who struggled to comprehend how such a grand spectacle could result in Luffin awakening as a Dragon Tamer. Frustrated, the headmaster, along with other students, berated Luffin, claiming that the Dragon Tamer profession was the most worthless in history. After the conclusion of the awakening ceremony, Luffin strolled through the old town of Zhonghai City, accompanied by his system notifications. He had reached level 10 as a Dragon Tamer, possessing skills related to dragons and dragon-like creatures. However, his net worth was a mere 239 units. Luffin couldn't help but recall the disbelief of the students and teachers when they learned of his awakening as a Dragon Tamer. They believed he was destined for mediocrity, as humans were deemed incapable of taming powerful creatures like dragons. Even as a hidden profession, the Dragon Tamer was considered the weakest in terms of practical applicability. Some students were perplexed by the teacher's assertions and sought explanations from their peers regarding why the Dragon Tamer profession was considered the weakest, despite being one of the three major hidden professions alongside the Dragon Blood Warrior and Dalanok Mage. Another student explained that most people wouldn't even encounter dragons, and if they did, it would be nearly impossible to tame them due to their inherently dangerous behavior. The headmaster, too, felt a sense of disappointment but gently patted Luffin on the shoulders, assuring him that everything would be alright. Despite being considered the weakest, the headmaster acknowledged that being a Dragon Tamer was still a hidden profession with immense potential. He speculated that perhaps Luffin could tame subdragon species and grow stronger. However, Luffin knew deep down that without an actual dragon, his potential as a Dragon Tamer would be limited. Subdragon species, after all, were merely ferocious beasts and paled in comparison to true dragons. In the 800-year history of the Dragon Kingdom, dragons had indeed made appearances, but no Dragon Tamer who had successfully tamed dragons had ever existed. No matter how powerful humans were, they were like insignificant ants in the face of a dragon's ferocious fire. Luffin understood that his desire to tame a giant dragon was nothing more than an unrealistic dream. He glanced at his system, where his skills remained locked because he had yet to tame a dragon. He felt disappointed, knowing that his aunt worked tirelessly to support his education, yet he couldn't provide her with a better life. Lost in his thoughts, Luffin suddenly found himself standing in front of his house, unaware of how he had arrived there. He composed himself and forced a fake smile as he entered, greeting his aunt and announcing his return. His Aunt Henki immediately embraced him, her face beaming with joy, and asked Luffin about his day, fully expecting it to be the most extraordinary day of his life. Curious about the profession Luffin had awakened, his aunt eagerly inquired about it. Upon hearing the question, Luffin felt a sudden wave of disappointment wash over him. However, before he could respond, his aunt reassured him, expressing that it was perfectly fine if he hadn't awakened a combat profession. She explained that she would have been worried if Luffin had to engage in daily battles outside. Luffin interrupted her, raising his voice to affirm that he had indeed awakened a combat profession as a Dragon Tamer. The catch, though, was that he couldn't utilize his abilities without taming dragons. Hearing this, Luffin's aunt was overjoyed. She reassured him that it didn't matter if he was a Dragon Tamer without a dragon because it still demonstrated his strength. Rising from her seat, she hugged Luffin once again and expressed her unwavering support for his future endeavors, including attending college. She even offered him the option to join her in running the steamed bun shop if he didn't wish to pursue higher education. Luffin was delighted by the offer and looked at his aunt through tear-filled eyes. However, His aunt encouraged him not to dwell too much on the matter and reminded him that dinner was getting cold. Luffin finally turned his attention to the array of dishes his aunt had prepared, realizing that he couldn't finish them all alone. After enjoying the meal, Luffin flopped down onto his bed, contemplating the fact that despite being only 26 years old, his aunt had been working in a livelihood profession for many years. Luffin's mind wandered to memories of his aunt's hands, marked with cuts and bruises. He deeply regretted his inability to change her ordinary life. He yearned to provide her with a better life, but he knew that without taking action as a dragon tamer, it would remain an unattainable dream. Frustration surged through him, and he pounded his fists on the bed repeatedly, contemplating the true potential of a dragon tamer with an actual dragon by their side. However, he had no idea where to find a dragon. Suddenly, a notification appeared, congratulating Luffin on receiving a first-day treasure map. He was astonished to discover that the treasure map was of divine level, a rarity on the first day. It triggered a realization in his mind. His system was called the Super Treasure Map System. During the awakening ceremony, Luffin had only tested the appraisal function and hadn't explored the treasure map feature. Curiosity piqued, he tapped on the treasure map icon, and the system revealed that treasure maps could be categorized as beginner, intermediate, advanced, or divine level. The system could even combine 3 identical low-level maps into a higher level one. A notification appeared, informing Luffin that he would receive a randomly graded and located treasure map every day. It further explained that if he reached the location indicated on the map, he would discover treasures related to his corresponding profession. Luffin's mind raced as he absorbed this information. Treasures related to his profession as a dragon tamer meant that he could potentially obtain a dragon. He realized that by effectively utilizing his system, he had a chance to bridge the gap between being the weakest and becoming the strongest. In other words, the divine level treasure map became Luffin's last hope to tilt the odds in his favor. Aware that giving up now would consign him to a life at the bottom of society, Luffin's determination surged. Without hesitation, he clicked on the divine treasure map, firmly deciding to follow wherever it led him. A large regional map materialized, revealing that the treasure lay in Mount Shi Basin. Luffin knew that Shi Basin was not too far from Zhonghai City, and if he caught the last suburban bus at night, he could arrive there early in the morning. As time passed and the early morning arrived, Luffin's aunt, still yawning and dressed in her nightwear, switched on the light to find a note placed on the dining table. She searched for Luffin in his room but found it empty. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to a bus traversing through the vast mountains. Luffin's aunt began reading the letter, discovering that Luffin had gone to Mount Shi Basin to pursue an opportunity that could potentially change the destiny of a dragon tamer. He reassured his aunt not to worry, promising to return soon. As the bus arrived at the train station, Luffin disembarked, unaware of the suspicious individuals lurking behind him. With unwavering determination, he resolved to carve out a better life for himself. He surveyed the desolate outskirts of Mount Shi Basin, resembling a barren land. Suddenly, someone forcefully bumped into Luffin's travel backpack. Startled, he turned around, only to find a muscular man accompanied by a small girl casting suspicious glances in his direction. Startled, Luffin quickly stepped back and instinctively reached for the weapon he possessed. However, someone grabbed his shoulder from behind and asked if he wanted to accompany them. Turning to face the person, Luffin saw an elderly man with an eye patch over his right eye. He forcefully shrugged off the man's hand, firmly stating that he had no intention of joining them. Luffin suspected that these individuals might be dungeon robbers. The girl among them pulled out a knife from her pocket, urging Luffin to reconsider. The man with the eye patch warned him about the dangers of being alone in the wilderness at night. Observing their demeanor, Luffin realized that these individuals had likely been involved in stealing and robbing for some time. They likely saw him, someone seemingly powerless, as an easy target. The muscular man clenched his fists, while the girl provocatively licked her knife. The man with the eye patch persisted in asking Luffin to make up his mind. Luffin immediately assumed a defensive stance, fully aware that the robbers had recognized his lack of power. However, he remained calm and replied that he didn't require their company for his journey. The group continued their attempts to convince Luffin, emphasizing that he didn't grasp the perils of the wilderness at night, which far exceeded his imagination. Even though Luffin acknowledged his current lack of skills, he knew he needed to avoid engaging in a fight at any cost. Thinking quickly, he lied to the group, claiming to be a summoner who didn't require companions. He explained that summoning elemental creatures would resolve any dangerous situations he encountered. The men in the group were taken aback by this response, and the man with the eye patch concluded that if Luffin was indeed a summoner, their concerns for his safety were unnecessary. He turned around and urged the other two to join him. The girl rushed towards Luffin and whispered in his ear, expressing her hope for a future meeting. She playfully referred to him as a handsome boy and bid him farewell with a flying kiss. Luffin's nervousness soared, but he understood that even in the dangerous wilderness, it was safer and preferable to avoid being stabbed in the back by dungeon robbers. Realizing that a life devoid of strength was fleeting and easily overtaken by the whims of fate, Luffin glanced at the map on his system and swiftly set off. As he ventured into the wild, his gaze fell upon a herd of powerful power horn horses, level 8 creatures with immense strength, peacefully grazing in an open field. Luffin knew that while power horn horses didn't actively attack humans, disturbing them would leave him defenseless. Thus, he chose to take a detour, avoiding any disturbance to the creatures. Despite taking a longer, safer route, Luffin couldn't shake off his sense of unease. He soon encountered a group of giant horn antelopes. Walking cautiously and slowly, he inadvertently stepped on a frog, causing it to cry out in pain. Instantly, all the antelopes turned their attention towards Luffin, screaming in anger at the disturbance. Luffin found himself being chased by the furious antelopes, desperately running in an attempt to escape. In his frantic flight, Luffin noticed an open plain to his side. Without hesitation, he leapt towards it, crashing onto the ground and managing to save himself. As he glanced back at the frog he had unintentionally harmed, he realized it had become the prey of the stampeding antelope herd. Disappointment filled Luffin's thoughts, realizing that he couldn't even handle a timid giant horn antelope in his current state. He understood that if he missed the opportunity presented to him that day, his fate would mirror that of the injured frog. Just then, a notification popped up, informing Luffin that he had reached the designated location on the treasure map. As he gazed ahead, he saw two massive rocks emitting a faint red glow from beyond. Luffin comprehended that these rocks served as the markers indicated on the treasure map. Stepping into the cave formed by the rocks, his eyes fell upon a colossal, pitch-black egg. He knew that this treasure had the potential to alter the destiny of a Dragon Tamer, for it was none other than a slowly cracking dragon egg. The system notification revealed that it was a black dragon egg with an unidentified level. The cracking sounds indicated that the dragon was on the verge of hatching. Suddenly, Luffin heard rustling noises emanating from the tall grass behind him. He swiftly drew his cleaver, understanding that despite the smooth journey thus far, he couldn't evade the senses of a wild beast. Turning around, he unleashed a slashing attack on the creature, which was none other than a bloodthirsty gray fox. The fox managed to halt Luffin's strike by gripping the cleaver with its large canines. The ferocious creature howled and launched a fierce counterattack, but Luffin skillfully deflected it and threw the fox to the ground. Taking deep breaths to regain his stamina, Luffin examined the appraisal window, revealing that the bloodthirsty gray fox possessed a triple claw strike ability and bloodthirst recovery attribute. The creature possessed the ability to unleash a triple hit combo, inflicting bleeding on its target while regaining health through bloodthirst recovery. Luffin glanced back at the dragon egg, realizing it would hatch imminently. Knowing he lacked the necessary time and skills to confront the creature, he considered stalling the fox until the dragon hatched, intending to employ his dragon taming ability. However, the fox had already leapt towards Luffin, poised to attack. Instinctively, Luffin extended his hand to defend himself against the impending assault. Recognizing the fox's incredible speed and his inability to wait for the dragon's hatching, Luffin suffered injuries from the fox's formidable and razor-sharp claws. He understood that he couldn't allow the fox to utilize its bloodthirst recovery. Determined to confront the creature, Luffin seized the opportunity when it prepared for the triple claw strike. Having endured one strike, with two more to go, Luffin blocked the second strike with his cleaver and managed to evade the third by swiftly sidestepping. Finally, it was Luffin's chance to retaliate. He forcefully slammed his cleaver onto the head of the bloodthirsty gray fox, resulting in a splatter of blood. Luffin retrieved his weapon from the creature's head, and a notification appeared, confirming his victory over the bloodthirsty gray fox and rewarding him with 120 experience points. Exhausted yet composed, Luffin found solace in having vanquished the monster. However, his relief was short-lived as three shadows materialized behind him, laughing boisterously and commending Luffin for overpowering the beast. They were none other than the group of robbers, expressing their admiration for his impressive feat. Assuming a defensive posture once again, Luffin firmly requested the group to cease their pursuit, reiterating that he had already made it clear he would not join them. The girl among them burst into laughter, taunting Luffin about his unnecessary nervousness. She was aware that Luffin had deceived their group. The man with the eye patch reminded Luffin of his claim to be a summoner, yet he had not displayed any summoning skills and had been injured by a creature of this caliber. Luffin found himself in a dilemma, realizing that the group of robbers had seen through his facade entirely. In response, he swiftly kicked the lifeless body of the fox monster towards them, suggesting they take the fox fur if they desired it and cease bothering him. However, upon the creature's motionless form crashing at their feet, the man with the eye patch laughed, remarking that Luffin was quite interesting. He picked up the fox fur, informing Luffin that it was only worth 80 dragon coins. Yet, their purpose for being there extended beyond such a minuscule amount. They were also after the divine treasure. Luffin immediately grasped that the group had observed him searching for the dragon egg. However, before he could react, the muscular man and the woman dashed towards him with hostile intentions. With a forceful blow, the muscular man delivered a powerful punch, sending Luffin crashing to the ground, his cleaver soaring through the air. Luffin landed with great impact several meters away from the robbers. As he opened his eyes, he found the woman pinning him down, a knife poised at his throat, warning him not to make any sudden movements unless he wanted to be cut. The man with the eye patch informed Luffin that he had underestimated the dungeon robber's keen sense for treasure. Seizing the opportunity, the muscular man hurried towards the dragon egg, urging the others to witness his discovery. Luffin witnessed his plan unraveling before his eyes. As the man with the eye patch reveled in obtaining the treasure, he ordered the girl to kill Luffin. Without delay, the man sprinted towards the egg, while the girl remarked to Luffin that he was indeed handsome, but she still had to bid him farewell. However, Luffin was not prepared to give up hope just yet. Observing that the dragon egg was on the brink of hatching, he realized he could not allow the robbers to take the dragon away from him. Suddenly, the hatching process reached completion, and something emerged from the egg in a split second, astonishing the group to their core. As they looked up, they were met with the silhouette of a colossal dragon, leaving them perplexed regarding the nature of the creature that had emerged from the egg. The dragon descended upon the robbers in a furious onslaught, prompting the man with the eye patch to hurl a bottle containing some kind of potion at the creature as a defensive measure. However, the dragon swiftly evaded the projectile, resuming its assault. The muscular man braced his fists, preparing to strike the dragon, but as the creature opened its jaws, it obliterated the muscular man with its savage attacks and fiery breath. Horror gripped the man with the eye patch as he witnessed the lifeless head of his muscular companion. Realizing that his own time had come, he cried out desperately, pleading for the girl's assistance. However, she was consumed by profound fear, witnessing the enigmatic yet dangerous creature before her. She relinquished the knife that had been pressed against Luffin's throat, and as Luffin relaxed, he gazed upon the dragon. He never fathomed that even a newly hatched dragon could possess such incredible power. It now became clear to him why people found it nearly impossible to tame these mystical dragons. The girl stared at Luffin in sheer terror, finally realizing that the monstrous creature before her was none other than one of the legendary dragons of lore. As she turned around, she came face to face with the creature that had devoured her companions in a single gulp, its gaze now fixed upon her in confusion. Swiftly, the girl withdrew her knife from Luffin and positioned it defensively in front of herself. Unbeknownst to her, Luffin had been freed from her grasp, and he forcefully pushed the robber aside, berating her for underestimating the dungeon robber's sense of smell. He shouted at the girl, accusing her of attempting to steal the dragon that rightfully belonged to him. Seizing the moment, Luffin dashed towards the dragon, even bewildering the creature itself, as he exclaimed, "Dragon Taming Technique." A yellow light began to radiate from his hands, surprising even the dragon. As Luffin made contact with the dragon, the girl, still trembling with fear, cautiously inquired about Luffin's identity. With a smile, Luffin posed a surprised question to the girl, asking if she finally desired to know who he truly was. He revealed to her that he was not merely a summoner, but rather, a dragon tamer. A notification appeared, confirming that Luffin had successfully tamed the Black Dragon under the Black Dragon Covenant. The enigmatic Black Dragon possessed skills such as Dragon Claw, Dragon Fang Strike, and Dragon's Inspiration. As the creature leapt towards the girl, she began apologizing for her actions, expressing her ignorance regarding the treasure being an actual dragon egg. All she had perceived was a red and black silhouette of Luffin and his newly acquired dragon. Luffin's anger flared at the girl's deceitful schemes, admonishing her for plotting against innocent individuals. He informed the girl that her only reward would be joining her comrades in the afterlife. He commanded the dragon to put an end to her once and for all. After the ordeal concluded, Luffin found himself seated on a cliff of the mountain, tending to the hand injured by the fox monster, while the dragon rummaged through his new master's bag in search of something. Abruptly, Luffin scooped up the dragon, unable to comprehend that he had finally bridged the gap between the weakest and the mightiest of races. He cradled the dragon in his hand like a child, remarking to the creature that it possessed an astonishing vitality. Luffin was struck by the realization that the dragon displayed such immense power immediately after hatching, and it would only grow stronger and stronger as it leveled up. Embracing his newly acquired dragon tightly, Luffin conveyed to the creature that the title of Dragon Tamer would no longer be associated with the weakest class, but instead held great significance. However, an important question lingered in Luffin's mind: what should he name his newly tamed dragon? He pondered names like Little Coal, Ball, and Black Diamond, but dismissed them as inadequate. Finally, Luffin noticed that the dragon was licking his wounds, and as the dragon consumed its master's blood, a crimson aura began to emanate from the creature. With the elegant unfurling of its wings, the dragon underwent a wondrous transformation, evolving into a magnificent girl who now stood before her master. The black dragon had metamorphosed into a human-like figure, complete with a long tail and 2 graceful wings. Luffin was astonished by this new form and comprehended that the dragon possessed the ability to assume a human shape. Since the dragon did not understand the human language, she simply nodded her head in agreement with what Luffin had expressed. The dragon lady continued to exhibit childlike behavior, flitting about in the air while Luffin studied his newly unlocked skills. These skills encompassed dragon taming, enabling him to tame dragon-like creatures, dragon claw, which transformed his arm into a formidable dragon claw whose strength depended on his current dragon companion, dragon fang strike, a technique that harnessed dragon energy to deliver a devastating blow, and lastly, dragon inspiration, a skill that bestowed a 30% increase in attributes and attack power to both himself and his dragon companion, serving as a source of inspiration. Luffin discovered that the black dragon held legendary status, confirming his initial belief. With the successful taming of the dragon, all of his skills were unlocked. Upon further examination, Luffin learned that dragon inspiration not only bolstered his own abilities but also enhanced the overall attributes and attack power of his dragon companion, surpassing even that of a priestess's buff. Moreover, Dragon Fang Strike proved to be a high-damage attack, while Dragon Claw allowed him to channel the might of his dragon pet through his transformed arms, unleashing devastating damage. The surprises did not end there, as Luffin discovered that the attributes of the Black Dragon hatchling were 5 or 6 times higher than those of an ordinary person. Realizing the immense power at his disposal, Luffin understood that even without personal intervention, he could easily overpower other combat professionals at the same level. Clicking on the profile of the Black Dragon, he was presented with her detailed stats. The dragon possessed a strength of 342, agility of 267, spirit of 359, and endurance of 373, solidifying her legendary status. Additionally, she possessed various offensive abilities, such as the formidable Jaw Assault, a swift charge that tore into targets, inflicting continuous bleeding damage, and Lava Flame, which continuously spewed flames, dealing damage while simultaneously providing healing effects. She possessed the heritage of the Black Dragon, which granted her a 50% reduction in damage taken from physical attacks, immunity to debuffs, and a remarkable 500% increase in self-recovery ability. Furthermore, she possessed a unique skill called Bloodline Connection, which required a blood pact. This skill provided a 10% attribute bonus specifically to the Dragon Tamer. Luffin was profoundly shocked to discover the extent of power contained within a mere dragon hatchling. Even at level 1, the hatchling possessed such potent abilities and nearly 400 points distributed across various attributes. Even a skilled human expert who was 20 levels higher than Luffin would stand no chance against him now, and he no longer needed to concern himself with ordinary humans. Additionally, the bloodline connection directly doubled all of Luffin's attributes, and he realized that it was the reason for his significantly increased strength after successfully taming the legendary Black Dragon. Luffin's happiness knew no bounds, and a smile graced his face. He acknowledged that this outcome was to be expected from one of the 3 most powerful hidden professions. Regardless of how formidable a hidden profession might be, it had no hope of prevailing against the dragon race. Undoubtedly, the Dragon Tamer was truly the strongest hidden profession and not the weakest, as previously believed. Just then, Luffin noticed the dragon lady consuming the eggshells from which she had hatched. He surmised that although the hatchling could transform into a human, she still exhibited dragon-like behavior, akin to that of a newborn. However, the question of what Luffin should name the dragon still lingered. Suddenly, a thought struck his mind, and he remembered that a little black dragon born during the early hours of dawn should be called Shiai. The dragon herself seemed delighted upon hearing the name and responded with an adorable smile. Luffin comprehended that the dragon was pleased with her new name, and he felt a sense of joy, realizing that the risks involved in treasure hunting were all worthwhile. Gently patting Shiai's head, he inquired if she was hungry. Shiai turned her gaze towards Luffin, nodding with an adorable smile as she finished consuming the remaining eggshells. Luffin informed her that it was time to venture out and hunt some monsters to satisfy their hunger, as he considered returning home without a full belly unacceptable. While contemplating this, Luffin also recognized that the upcoming trial, which determined his eligibility for entry into the prestigious Southern Province's Top Scholar Award and the Dragon Kingdom's highest educational institution, was imminent. He realized that many students must be striving to enhance their qualifications by seeking opportunities beyond the confines of the province. The opportunity he had longed for was now within his grasp. However, Luffin understood that he could not underestimate the entrance exam, even in light of recent events. Prioritizing leveling up and mastering skills remained crucial for both himself and Shiai. With a smile adorning his face, Luffin began to run, and Shiai followed suit, wearing a smile of her own. Luffin informed Shiai that they were embarking on a journey deep into the Mount Shi Basin, as he knew there were monsters residing there that were even more delectable than eggshells for a dragon's palate. As they made their way forward, Luffin and Shiai suddenly heard noises, alerting them to the presence of a group of creatures rapidly approaching them. Luffin swiftly activated his system, which provided him with information about the PL's hyena. He learned that they possessed the rending bite attack, which inflicted continuous bleeding damage on the target, as well as the putrefaction ability, which applied a disease debuff. Defeating these creatures would yield canine teeth, valued at 95 dragon coins. Luffin was aware that these adversaries were more perilous and resilient than the bloodthirsty gray fox he had previously encountered. Recalling the injuries he sustained while battling the wild level 10 bloodthirsty gray fox, Luffin felt hesitant to engage. However, the dragon lady was already airborne, wearing a mischievous smile, knowing that she was about to be fed. Luffin understood that the lady desired to take the lead. Filled with confidence, Luffin's eyes gleamed as he believed that the Mount Shi Basin held no danger for the strongest Dragon Tamer and his dragon companion. Both Luffin and Shiai advanced with smiles on their faces, approaching the plains hyenas, prepared to send them into the dragon's stomach as their meal. The dragon soared high above, and as the plains hyenas roared, she took a deep breath, her stomach emitting a glowing flame aura. Finally, she unleashed her lava flame attack upon the hyenas, engulfing them in flames. As the creatures burned, Luffin and the black dragon gained experience points. Shiai continued to employ her lava flame attack, while Luffin closely monitored the system, witnessing their levels increase. Luffin reached level 11, and the black dragon advanced to level 3. With a smile, Luffin instructed Shiai not to waste time on the smaller foes. Both Luffin and Shiai directed their attention towards a den within the mountain. Luffin informed Shiai that a formidable opponent had been eagerly awaiting their arrival for a considerable time. 3 sets of eyes emitted an intense, piercing gaze towards Luffin and his dragon, and finally, the creature emerged from hiding, a menacing monster with 3 heads, clearly exuding a deadly intent. The formidable adversary revealed itself to be none other than the 3-headed blood lion, a lion-like creature at level 25. This creature possessed multiple attacks, including the rumbling roar, which bolstered its defense and attack power, trample, capable of inflicting significant damage within its target range, and triple flame, which unleashed 3 instances of fiery area damage. Defeating the Blood Lion would grant the player 23,790 experience points and yield materials such as the Blood Lion's tooth and Blood Lion's skin. Luffin was aware that facing a level 25 elite boss typically required a formidable team of monster hunters. However, as a Dragon Tamer, he possessed newfound confidence and believed he could overcome any challenge. He commanded Shiai to engage in battle with the 3-headed lion. As Luffin and Xiaoyi pressed forward, the lion unleashed a roar, enhancing its defense and attack power for a limited duration. Subsequently, it began charging a devastating attack known as the Triple Flame. Luffin understood that this attack required a charging time, and while running, he instructed Xiaoyi to cooperate with him in order to interrupt the lion's skill. Xiaoyi's body became engulfed in flames, and Luffin readied his cleaver. Both Luffin and Xiaoyi lunged towards the three-headed lion. In a breathtaking transformation, the black dragon assumed her original form and employed the powerful jaw assault, biting down on the creature's face while gripping the other two heads with her sharp claws. The system notified Luffin of the successful interruption of the Triple Flame attack. He praised his dragon for her excellent work and launched his own strike with the cleaver, utilizing the Dragon Fang strike technique, which unleashed a potent strike empowered by the dragon aura and his current weapon. With this final blow, the creature collapsed lifeless on the ground, prompting both Luffin and the dragon to retreat to their original positions. The dragon reverted to her human form once again, surprising Luffin with the realization that the elite monsters had significantly aided his rapid leveling. Luffin had now reached level 14, while the dragon had advanced to level 9. Suddenly, a system notification appeared, informing Luffin that the treasure map system had been triggered and a new treasure map for the day had been sent to him. A faint smile graced Luffin's face as he pondered the exclusive item for Dragon Tamers that this treasure might lead to. He commanded Xiaoyi to accompany him on the treasure hunt, and the dragon lady readily complied with her master's request, wearing a smile. As the scene shifted, where a trio of individuals stood, the girl with blue hair asked the uncle whether they should truly let such a rare opportunity slip away. However, the uncle, named Sun Ji, explained that they had no choice. We learned that Sun Ji was a warrior, and he informed the lady that the fortuitous realm required a minimum of 5 people to activate, but they lacked sufficient numbers. He proposed sending Miss Kai back to Zhonghai City to gather more people. However, another lady, who turned out to be the Miss Kai the uncle mentioned, interrupted him. She was a rogue and expressed doubt that his plan would succeed, stating that even with her agility, a round trip would take an entire day. The girl with blue hair was introduced as Kin Q, but her profession remained unknown to us at that moment. She informed everyone that the fortuitous realms appeared randomly and offered higher rewards compared to regular dungeons. However, the challenge was that these realms existed for only 24 hours, and the uncle's plan couldn't be completed in time before the dungeon closed. Sun Ji consulted with Qin, assuring her that she didn't need to worry about gains and losses like the secret realms. Depending on her strength, as long as she entered the top 10 universities, they would provide her with secret realms. However, Qin still felt a sense of sadness and expressed to the uncle her disappointment that they were so close to the secret realm but were lacking one member. Suddenly, Sun Ji and the rogue girl heard something, causing them to immediately turn around, ready to attack. To their surprise, they saw Luffin, who reassured them not to be nervous as he was merely passing through the mountain. The uncle was deeply shocked to encounter such a young boy deep within Mount Shi Basin. He advised Luffin that the place was not meant for material hunting and suggested he should go back. However, Qin quickly intervened, interrupting the uncle's speech, and introduced herself as part of the Qin family in Zhongyi City. She expressed that, although it might be abrupt, she asked Luffin if he would like to temporarily team up with their group. The girl attempted to entice Luffin by suggesting that he wouldn't have to do anything except join their group and enter the secret realm of chance. She informed him that once they completed their task, Luffin would be rewarded with 100,000 dragon coins. Upon hearing the prize, Luffin halted in his tracks and began contemplating the offer. He realized that if even the Qin family, known as the wealthiest family in Zhonghai City, sought the secret realm of chance, the final reward must be exceedingly rare. While the girl continued speaking, she assured Luffin that they only needed his help in gathering the required number of people for the secret realm, and he wouldn't have to exert any additional effort to receive his 100,000 dragon coins. As the scene shifted, we observed that the group previously consisted of 3 individuals but had now recruited a paladin. However, they were still 1 member short. The uncle led the way toward a massive purplish portal that led to the secret realm, urging Luffin to follow quickly if he desired the reward. He emphasized that such a rare opportunity wouldn't casually come his way again. Luffin smiled at the offer and addressed everyone, expressing his limited interest in money. However, he stated that he was willing to help if the group could cooperate and adhere to the rules of fair distribution. The uncle and the 2 ladies were astonished to hear these words coming from a young boy. The rogue lady immediately understood that Luffin intended to distribute the rewards in the secret realm based on their individual strengths. Hearing this, Luffin confirmed that his intention was indeed to ensure fairness in the distribution of rewards. Upon hearing Luffin's proposal for fair cooperation, Kin became lost in thought. She observed that the average level of the entire group was around 20, and Luffin appeared to be weaker than all of them. She couldn't quite comprehend whether he was genuinely confident in his skills or simply an arrogant individual. Nevertheless, the group was in desperate need of one more member to enter the secret realm of chance. Kin smiled, extending her hand towards Luffin, and suggested that since he was willing to cooperate, they should form a cooperative team. She assured him that the promised reward of 100,000 dragon coins would still be his, as a gesture of sincerity from the group. Luffin returned the smile, shaking Kin's hand, and agreed to the deal. After finalizing the arrangement, Kin became happy and excited. She urged everyone to move as quickly as possible. However, Luffin had something else on his mind. He believed that revealing the identity of his legendary dragon, the strangers in the wilderness, would only bring trouble. Therefore, he decided to summon the Dragon Lady after obtaining the reward from the secret realm of chance. Although he felt sorry for the dragon, he believed it was the best course of action. Finally, Luffin entered the portal behind everyone else and arrived at the secret realm of chance. As soon as he set foot inside, he was greeted by a dark and desolate landscape, filled with lifeless trees and a dense purple fog enveloping the surroundings. A system notification appeared, informing Luffin that he had entered the secret realm of chance and was now standing in the Morning Village. This realm was designated as a level 20 area with a solid level of difficulty. It had a restriction that only groups of at least 5 people could enter. As they observed the eerie atmosphere surrounding them, Kin remarked that the village was unusually quiet, with only their own voices audible. The assassin lady carefully analyzed the environment and noted the heavy air and the absence of signs of life within the surrounding fog. Meanwhile, Sunji expressed concern for Luffin, cautioning him to be careful since he was unarmed and lacked equipment. Luffin smiled and raised his hand, causing a flaming aura to envelop him. Suddenly, a large black machete adorned with dragon scales materialized in his hands. A system notification revealed that it was an epic quality weapon with no level requirement for its use. It could only be wielded by Dragon Tamers and Dragon Blood Warriors. Additionally, the weapon possessed a skill that granted the user the Dragon Blood armor, which partially transformed the user into a dragon and increased the power of the dragon transformation. It also provided a 65-point increase in strength and a 30-point increase in stamina. Luffin expressed his gratitude for the advanced treasure map that had been triggered after defeating the 3-headed blood lion. It had presented him with the opportunity to replace his novice machete with this legendary weapon. Sunji asked Luffin if he was a newly transferred student rather than a material hunter, as his weapon appeared extraordinary. On the other hand, the assassin lady grew increasingly frustrated and questioned the uncle's excessive concern for a stranger. She had made up her mind, believing that if Luffin had any malicious intentions, she was confident in her ability to subdue him immediately. Suddenly, Sanj was taken by surprise as a hand emerged from the ground, startling him. The hand belonged to none other than the corrupt zombies, who were at level 15. Defeating them would yield 620 experience points, along with a corruption poison sac and 256 dragon coins. These zombies possessed dangerous attacks such as the hug and bite, which entangled and scratched their targets while continuing to bite. Additionally, their attacks were infused with corpse poison, causing the target to gradually lose life points. Those who perished under the effect of the corpse poison would themselves transform into corrupt zombies. Kin warned the uncle to be cautious as a horde of corrupt zombies emerged from the ground, ready to attack and infect the group with their deadly poison. However, the paladin swiftly positioned himself in front, using his shield to block the incoming attacks from each and every corrupt zombie. A status window appeared, revealing that his name was Jia, a level 20 knight with a fighting profession. The uncle stepped back and stood beside the assassin lady, commending Jia for his immediate assistance and counterattacks. The uncle himself had a combat profession and was a level 28 war warrior, hacking and slashing through the corrupt zombies that stood in his way. The rogue lady, also a level 28 rogue, joined in the fight, utilizing her skills to aid in the battle. Luffin observed the entire fight, with every detail popping up in his system window. He contemplated the composition and strategy of the warrior, rogue, and knight who were guarding the portal, finding it to be a reasonable configuration, particularly for the uncle, who was a level 28 warrior on the verge of changing professions for the second time. Suddenly, Qin raised her staff into the air, causing a yellow aura to envelop her body. She levitated slightly above the ground while chanting spells and charging her attack. Finally, she unleashed her Holy Light Star Rain, a powerful attack that gathered energy and sent out a cascade of starlight raining down upon the enemies. This attack dealt holy damage to the zombies within its range while also healing the allied targets by the amount of damage inflicted upon the zombies. Everyone witnessed multiple meteorite-like attacks. Meanwhile, all the zombies fell prey to Qin's devastating area of effect attack, leaving no trace of their existence. Qin smiled as she informed Luffin that this was her profession. It was revealed that Qin possessed the hidden profession of the Holy Light Mage, which allowed her to combine attack and healing abilities. Although her attack damage might be lower than that of a mage, and her healing might not match that of a priest, she could perform both roles simultaneously, providing valuable benefits to the team. A notification appeared, revealing that Qin was a white-level hidden professional, the Holy Light Mage. Even Luffin was surprised to realize that he had encountered another hidden professional within such a short span of time. He complimented the effectiveness of Qin's holy damage against the zombies. However, the silence was short-lived as everyone felt an earthquake beneath their feet, forcing them to quickly regain their balance. Amidst the commotion, Luffin became aware that the disturbance had alerted some elite monsters, who were now advancing toward the group. Judging by the sound of their footsteps, Luffin deduced that they were a considerable number. Suddenly, a blood-red hand emerged from the ground, and a system notification informed Luffin that they were level 20 blood zombies. Defeating these zombies would yield 840 experience points, along with a blood corpse poison sac and 90 dragon coins. The zombies possessed a blood-sucking bite that inflicted damage on the target while simultaneously healing themselves. Additionally, their attacks were infused with corpse poison. They had a new attack called Blood Fury, which allowed them to enter a violent state, increasing their strength and agility by 40%. The blood zombies slowly emerged from the ground, driven by the desire to annihilate the living beings standing before them. Sunj grew alarmed as he observed the elite monsters approaching and instructed the rogue lady to protect Qin and Luffin. Meanwhile, he ordered Jia to accompany him, realizing that they couldn't allow these rotting abominations to break through the front line. Jia halted his ongoing fight and promptly followed Sunjay's command. Both of them prepared themselves for a fierce assault, ready to unleash their heavy attacks. Sunj utilized his full moon ability to strike a blood zombie, severing its hand from its undead body. Simultaneously, Jia thrust his sword towards the supposed location of the zombie's heart, aiming for a lethal blow, or so they thought. In an unexpected turn, Sunj and Jia found themselves in shock as they witnessed the zombies smiling, displaying no signs of damage from the attacks inflicted upon them. In a sudden turn of events, Jia witnessed the blood zombies absorbing both his and Sunjay's weapons into their bodies. The zombies grinned and laughed maniacally while growing in size, activating the corpse poison that infected the group and healed the zombies in the process. Jia struggled to comprehend how this was possible, and even Qin was shocked, explaining that the corpse poison required the clarity of a priest to be removed from the body, which she couldn't provide. This meant that she was unable to help anyone in this situation. Meanwhile, the growth of the zombies showed no signs of stopping, and they engulfed the knight's hand, inflicting him with increasing damage from the corpse poison every second. Jia, now desperate and in pain, cried out for help, urging everyone to come to his aid. He instructed Sunj to quickly release his weapon to avoid infection. Responding to Jia's plea, Sunj rushed towards the knight, hoping to save him. He ordered the rogue lady to defend the front line against the blood zombies while he attempted to free the knight from the muscular grip of the zombie. However, she was unable to assist them as she was preoccupied with fending off other zombies who were attempting to infect her as well. Suddenly, they heard Luffin's voice, urging Sunj and the knight to remain calm and allow the lady to continue fighting. It was then noticed that one of Luffin's eyes emitted a crimson-red glow, holding the epic machete in his hand, ready to slay all the monsters. Luffin assertively stated, "Allow me to take care of it." Despite Sunjay's concern that Luffin would be severely damaged if he didn't move away from the blood zombies, Luffin displayed intense determination. With his legendary ink dragon machete in hand, he unleashed a swift attack on the blood zombie's throat, surrounded by a yellow flaming aura. The sight left everyone in utter shock, and the most astonished among them was Sunj, who could hardly believe that Luffin had managed to defeat the zombie. Meanwhile, Luffin returned Sunji his sword, wearing a smile on his face as he encouraged him not to back down and to keep moving forward. However, Sunji ignored his words and immediately questioned Luffin about his exact level. It seemed impossible for a newly transferred student to possess such high attack power. Despite the uncle's inquiry, there were more pressing matters at hand. The paladin, Little Jia, was gravely wounded, and Qin hurried over to him, assuring him that he would be healed. Luffin maintained his smile as a dragon aura emanated from one of his eyes. He assured Sunji that he was just a normal level 14 student and had no reason to lie about it. He explained that he had come to Mount Shi Basin to practice for the upcoming exam. Qin, while healing Little Jia, overheard Luffin's words and realized that Luffin was a student from the same year as her. She struggled to comprehend how a level 14 student could possess higher attack power than the level 28 uncle. Suddenly, a red blood zombie attacked the lady from behind, wearing a gruesome smile. The rogue lady swiftly intervened, positioning herself between Qin and the zombie, armed with her crossbow. To her surprise, the threat she intended to subdue was even quicker than her, swiftly pinning the zombie to the wall and delivering a lethal blow with his legendary machete. As Luffin retrieved his weapon from the blood zombie, he informed everyone that the level of zombies in the village would only increase. Luffin made an offer to the group, proposing to fill the gap in the front row. He asked if they were okay with this decision. Sunji contemplated the offer while the ladies recalled a rumor. They had heard about a person in Zhanghai City. They wondered if that person could be none other than Luffin. Qin smiled and assured him that they would rely on him from that point forward. She suggested that he and the uncle lead the team at the front, while the lady took care of Little Jia, and the rogue lady covered the rear. Qin even mentioned that the secret realm guardian should be in the village. Upon hearing this, Luffin revealed his name and took the lead, signaling for everyone to move quickly and venture deeper into the realm. The group was shocked to learn Luffin's true identity as the rumored hidden class, Dragon Tamer, who had recently awakened. They still struggled to understand how the supposedly weakest class could possess such strength. As the scene shifted, Luffin and the others found themselves at the center of the village, battling and defeating every blood zombie that crossed their path. As Luffin fought, he realized that Qin's profession couldn't remove the corpse poison, and the teleportation gate would only appear after they defeated the secret realm guardian. He understood the urgency of the situation. Little Jia's life was in danger within the secret realm, as the corpse poison spread and threatened to turn him into a zombie. However, the rogue lady questioned why there was no sign of the secret realm guardian, even in the village center. Suddenly, Little Jia noticed zombies circling Sunj from behind, accompanied by rustling sounds from the debris. Summoning his remaining strength, Little Jia warned the uncle to be cautious before collapsing to the ground unconscious. Qin rushed to his side, urging him to hold on. In a startling turn of events, a red beam of light emanated from the debris above the group. As they turned around, they were confronted by a massive iron-skinned zombie with multiple heads and a prominent red eye. It charged toward them with astonishing speed. They realized this iron-skinned zombie was a level 20 monster, rewarding 40 dragon coins upon defeat and yielding 3,720 experience points. It possessed the corpse poison attack and a simulation absorption ability that allowed it to absorb poison targets, increasing its maximum HP. Additionally, it had steel skin, entering an iron skin state that boosted its defense and endurance by 40%. The rogue lady gasped, recognizing the iron skin zombie as the secret realm guardian. Luffin understood that Little Jia's worsening corpse poison had attracted the iron skin zombie. He urgently urged the group to defeat the zombie before it could assimilate and absorb the paladin. Sunj, upon hearing this, swiftly charged at the zombie, unleashing a moonlight slash, but the attack proved ineffective, failing to leave even a scratch. Realizing time was running out due to the rapid spread of the corpse poison, Luffin once again joined the fight, activating his dragon aura. He knew they couldn't afford to let the zombies attack slowly. Taking his black machete, he aimed for the iron-skinned zombie's main red eye, but his strike had no effect due to the creature's steel skin state, which further enhanced its defense and endurance. Luffin glanced at his ink dragon scale machete, realizing he needed 2 more swift strikes. Time was of the essence, as the zombie could absorb Little Jia at any moment. Suddenly, he noticed the dragon blood armor skill in his status window, which partially transformed the user into a dragon. Seizing the opportunity, Luffin shouted for Qin to use her holy spells in coordination with him. Completing his transformation, one of Luffin's hands morphed into a dragon hand. Qin, following his lead, began chanting her holy spells while holding her staff in the air. Luffin instructed the uncle to protect little Gia with the assistance of the rogue lady. With Luffin's transformation complete, he and Kin charged toward the iron-skinned zombie. Luffin leapt at the creature with all his might, while the Holy Light Mage unleashed her Holy Starlight Rain attack, aiming to deal massive damage and defeat the undead creature once and for all. The iron-skinned zombie boss charged at Luffin and the group with incredible speed, shouting its desire for fresh blood and flesh. Luffin leapt into the air, prepared to attack the resilient creature in mid-motion. However, to everyone's surprise, the monstrous iron-skinned zombie suddenly began to disintegrate, its skin falling away piece by piece. The observant rogue lady realized that the zombie was disintegrating as it increased its speed. Upon hearing this, the uncle understood that the iron-skinned zombie relied on a constant fusion and absorption technique to grow and maintain its massive body. Luffin quickly deduced that if the iron-skinned body was not the original form of the zombie, then the true body must have been encased within the layers of iron. Sun Ji, thoroughly impressed with Luffin's quick thinking and decisive action, reflected on his many years of service to the Kin family, having witnessed various masters, but never encountering someone quite like Luffin, who possessed exceptional abilities hidden from plain sight. Suddenly, the disintegration of the iron-skinned zombie's skin intensified, revealing the original head of the creature before everyone's eyes. Kin, noticing this, informed Luffin, who promptly sprinted towards the body once more with incredible speed, his hands transforming into dragon-like appendages as before. With all his strength, Luffin leapt into the air and struck the zombie's red-crimson eye with his dragon hand, clenching the eye tightly and obliterating it with fiery power. The zombie cried out in pain and agony as its original body was consumed by the flames until nothing remained. Finally, the zombie was completely destroyed, and Luffin landed on the ground, reverting his hand transformation and retrieving his legendary black machete into his hands once again. Witnessing this, everyone was utterly shocked, unable to comprehend how a newcomer could defeat the guardian of the secret realm of chance. Even Kin, feeling a slight unease, had never witnessed such a powerful skill that could effortlessly bring down a level 20 boss. She was intrigued to learn more about Luffin's true identity. As the smoke cleared, a silver chest, which turned out to be the iron-skinned zombie's level 20 treasure box, came into view. Kin, realizing this, assured Luffin that her group would honor their agreement and distribute the rewards according to the established rules. She also offered her apologies to Luffin, acknowledging that they had underestimated him and treated him rudely without recognizing his true power. Sun Ji, impressed by Luffin's abilities, complimented him, stating that he was undoubtedly capable of navigating the secret realm alone. It appeared that the entire group was now making amends for their previous behavior and accompanying Luffin, not only for his sake but to compensate for their lack of understanding. With a smile, Luffin expressed gratitude towards Sun Ji and thanked the uncle, suggesting that Kin should be the one to distribute the rewards among the group. Upon hearing this, Kin opened the chest, and the sight of the rewards left everyone astonished. Inside the chest were multiple bottles of normal quality strength potions, which increased strength by 2 points when consumed. Additionally, there were several rare quality antidote potions that could neutralize core poison upon consumption. However, the rogue lady expressed some doubt, finding the rewards from the secret realm of chance somewhat underwhelming. Nevertheless, the chest also contained the morning bracelet, an excellent quality item that required level 10 to wear. This bracelet significantly boosted strength to 16 and endurance to 17. The group was taken aback by the presence of such a valuable item. As they examined the bracelet, even Sun Ji began to doubt the quality of the rewards, considering them rather lackluster for a boss of the secret realm. This raised questions among everyone, including Luffin, about the true nature of the situation. Meanwhile, the girl requested that the uncle administer the antidote potion to Little Jaw, hoping to swiftly cure him of the deadly poison coursing through his body. After distributing the rewards to everyone, Kin wore a smile as she handed the morning bracelet to Luffin, affirming that he deserved it, along with the strength and antidote potions. Luffin reciprocated the smile, acknowledging the disciplined nature of the Kin family. Sun Ji proceeded to give Gia the potion to aid in his recovery from the lethal poison that had infected him. As the equipment was being sorted, Kin couldn't help but ponder the strangeness of defeating the boss but not being able to locate the portal to exit the secret realm of chance. Meanwhile, Luffin, now wearing the morning bracelet, noticed something ominous approaching their location. The rogue lady suggested that they start searching for the portal, but Luffin urgently warned the ladies not to move. Luffin consulted his system and realized that even after defeating the blood zombies and the iron skin zombies, they were not facing the final boss of the morning village. Someone still remained. Sanji questioned Luffin about the basis of his statement, expressing surprise that there was still an adversary left. However, before Luffin could respond, Kin informed the uncle that, as a holy light mage, she could sense a dark presence not far from their current position. Approaching the lakeside of the morning village, they were met with a scene of darkness and gloom, accompanied by an unbearable stench emanating from the water. The entire group immediately concurred that if the lady sensed someone nearby, there must be a reason behind it. Considering the relatively small size of the secret realm of chance, it was possible that they had overlooked a certain area upon initially entering the morning village. Within the water, a monstrous tentacle creature revealed itself, adorned with numerous grotesque eyes and crimson pupils filled with rage. It seethed with anger due to the group's defeat of its minions. Luffin, attuned to the situation, sensed the impending danger that would arrive sooner than anyone anticipated. Suddenly, multiple tentacles, accompanied by a multitude of eyes, emerged from the ground, shocking everyone to their core. Despite maintaining a safe distance from the monster, even the status window failed to provide information about its identity or level. Realizing that Luffin had been correct all along, Sanji deduced that this tentacle creature must be the final boss. Everyone swiftly moved away from the menacing grasp of the tentacles, while Sanji attempted to defend the group with his red-crimson sword. However, as the numerous tentacles attacked him, he was forcefully thrown several meters away, overwhelmed by the sheer strength and power of the monster's appendages. The group was astonished to witness their highest-level member being knocked to the ground. In the midst of chaos, Kin suddenly felt the tentacles gaze upon her from all directions, and in the next moment, they moved with insane speed, attempting to ensnare her. Amidst the confusion, the lady struggled to comprehend the unfolding events, left only able to scream without taking action. However, in a burst of agility, Luffin swiftly emerged like a blazing turret, catching the lady just in time, preventing the monster from getting hold of her. The lady couldn't help but blush uncontrollably upon witnessing this heroic act by Luffin. However, the tentacles continued their assault, throwing both Luffin and the lady to the ground. Immediately, the other members of the group rushed to their aid. The rogue lady inquired about Kin's well-being. Nevertheless, their attention was quickly diverted as a dark purple aura emerged from the river, leaving the rogue lady paralyzed with fear. As everyone turned their heads, they began to flee towards the monster, which had finally emerged from the pond. Amidst the mass of tentacles, a lady with long hair and chained hands gazed at the group with a mixture of anger and disgust. This lady was the Morning Corpse, the true boss of the secret realm, boasting level 25, a strength of 27, agility of 183, spirit of 150, and stamina of 266. The lady's entangled aura emitted a constant decrease of 20% in all attributes for creatures within the secret realm. She wielded a chain whip that inflicted significant damage upon reaching its target, and her resentment explosion ability repelled approaching enemies while inflicting corpse poison. With her chained hands, the grieving lady stood, supported by her tentacles, fixing her gaze upon Sanji and the rest of the group. The rogue lady was taken aback by the sight of the true boss of the secret realm. As little Gia regained consciousness, he expressed his desire to fight the boss as well. However, Sanji reassured the paladin, urging him to focus on recovering fully and promising to protect everyone, including Gia. Nevertheless, Gia's determination to join the fight persisted. Sanji turned towards him, urging him not to push himself as his body was still recovering. However, the uncle failed to notice that the tentacles of the boss lady were about to strike him from above. Suddenly, the uncle's attention was drawn to the impending attack, and somehow he managed to block the tentacle with his sword. Meanwhile, Luffin charged towards the true monster, wielding his legendary black machete. He realized that the uncle and little Gia were barely holding their own against the boss and that the group's ultimate success relied on him defeating the boss. Luffin quickly realized that the only way to truly defeat the boss was to target the original body of the lady, who was controlling the tentacles. Without hesitation, he leapt towards her. However, upon seeing Luffin's approach, the lady contorted her face and let out a bizarre scream directed at him. The creature activated the Corpse Kai envelopment, continuously emanating Corpse Kai that reduced the attributes of all creatures within the secret realm by 20%. Everyone, including Luffin, was now affected by this attack. Nevertheless, Luffin somehow found the strength to press on and reached one of the lady's attacking tentacles. With ferocious assaults from the tentacle, Luffin leapt onto the chain shackling the lady and began running along it, aiming to reach the main body as quickly as possible. Even the main body of the lady was shocked by Luffin's audacious move, but Kin swiftly warned him to be cautious of the iron shackles. The main body retaliated by unleashing a chain lash attack, whipping the chains in a devastating manner, inflicting massive damage. Following this attack, Luffin struggled to maintain his balance on the chain and started to lose his grip, still clutching the machete tightly. Now, the main boss of the secret realm seethed with anger, glaring at the entire group with a mixture of disgust and fury. It unleashed a chain lash attack with the intention of killing them all. Sun Ji swiftly intercepted the chain, cautioning Kin to be vigilant while facing the secret boss. The rogue lady and little Jia also defended against the onslaught, but the paladin's shield shattered from a single impact by the secret boss. Luffin remained on the offensive, desperately attempting to reach the main body of the monster. However, he immediately noticed a tentacle sweeping through the air beside him, striking Sun Ji and the rest of the group. That if he persisted in resisting its attacks, the entire group would perish. In response to the monster's threat, Luffin's anger surged, and he continued his advance toward the main body, demanding that it step aside and allow them to leave the dungeon. He unleashed his dragon strike attack once more, harnessing the power of dragon energy to deliver a devastating blow to the enemy, aided by his current weapon. The chained lady, in pain, retaliated with desperate chain lash attacks, relentlessly assaulting the group and Luffin. Finally, Luffin activated the dragon blood transformation, causing his hand to radiate with a dragon's glow. With this newfound power, he shattered all the chains that assailed him and the entire hunter group. After breaking free, Luffin landed on the ground. Sun Ji advised him that the boss was currently beyond their capabilities, suggesting that they retreat and devise a strategy for facing the secret boss. Even Kin expressed concern for Luffin, acknowledging the group's dire condition and their inability to match the secret boss's strength. She emphasized that they would all be in grave danger if they didn't immediately escape the secret realm. However, as the grieving lady continued to fixate on Luffin, poised to attack once again, he urged the entire group to retreat to the village, where the zombies had already been eradicated. He entrusted the task to the uncle and the rogue lady, ensuring the safety of the other two members. Even Kin, deeply concerned, inquired about Luffin's intentions of staying near the main boss lady. In response, Luffin gestured dismissively, assuring Kin that he would defeat the boss no matter the cost. He reiterated the urgency of the group's retreat, prompting even the rogue lady to support Luffin's idea and urging Kin to join them in retreating. The lady expressed profound disappointment that they couldn't assist Luffin and that he had to face the monster alone. On the other hand, Luffin raised his hand, and the battlefield became enveloped in a fiery aura as he opened a portal. He realized that even without the debilitating 20% attribute reduction inflicted by the grieving lady, the rest of the group would still be unable to provide significant assistance to him. Instead of witnessing their struggle, Luffin desired a true ally, someone who could genuinely cooperate with him in confronting the real boss of the secret realm. The lady boss remained infuriated with Luffin, glaring at him with an intent to kill. However, even the creature itself couldn't fathom what was unfolding. Suddenly, Luffin called out for someone to emerge from the portal and join him for some excitement. In response to his call, the black legendary dragon emerged from the portal, swiftly seizing the tentacles of the secret boss with its jaws. Everyone present was utterly shocked by this astonishing revelation of Luffin's secret, finding it difficult to believe that they were witnessing the presence of such a mighty dragon in the secret realm. We witnessed the dragon's immense growth, surpassing its previous size. As Luffin summoned the legendary dragon for the first time, it swiftly seized every tentacle with its razor-sharp claws and massive hands. Meanwhile, the group remained in a state of shock, observing the mysterious child summoning a colossal dragon into the secret realm. Although Luffin had initially planned to conceal the dragon's existence from the hunter group, there was no alternative but to reveal her presence in order to defeat the secret boss. The dragon obediently followed her master's commands, executing a devastating giant assault attack. With incredible speed, it lunged at the target, inflicting continuous bleeding damage through its powerful bite. As a result, the dragon shattered numerous tentacles of the main body, causing the zombie lady to scream in agonizing pain and unleash frantic attacks. However, the dragon showed no signs of relenting. It launched a final assault against the secret boss, breaking all the lady's restraints and submerging her back into the water. Finally, the secret boss of the realm of chance was defeated. Sanji couldn't comprehend how Luffin managed to dismantle the enormous boss with just 2 strikes. The thought was truly terrifying to him. Even little Gia struggled to believe the sheer might of the dragon, witnessing it firsthand. The entire group, initially convinced that encountering the dragon spelled certain death, found themselves both shaken and terrified, yet also filled with a sense of awe. Even Qin realized that the person mentioned in the recent rumors she had heard about Zhang Hyam was indeed their very own Luffin, the supposedly worthless Dragon Tamer. Luffin affectionately stroked the dragon, expressing gratitude for her exceptional performance and praising her for a job well done. Suddenly, we were transported back 300 years in a flashback. In this distant past, a girl was born and raised within the protective confines of the church, shielded from external threats. Life was peaceful and filled with happiness until a devastating plague emerged, wreaking havoc on everything in its path. The situation grew increasingly dire, with bodies accumulating by the lake and more people succumbing to the illness before they could even be laid to rest. The girl, driven by an intense desire to save everyone, engaged in rigorous training. However, her efforts proved futile, leading her down a path that transformed her into a dark witch. As a result, she could no longer heal the ailing patients but could only summon spirits to allow the living to bid farewell to their loved ones who had passed away. The church followers vehemently opposed this practice, declaring the dark witch responsible for bringing about the plague in the first place. The very same church that once provided sanctuary to the girl now accused her of being the cause of the disaster. One fateful night, while the girl was summoning the souls of the departed, the soldiers, influenced by the biased opinions of the village elders, seized her and bound her tightly with iron chains. She struggled to comprehend why she was being treated in such a manner. Blinded by the false narrative propagated by the village elders, each villager sought to understand why the alleged witch intended to harm their community. Unbeknownst to them, the Dark Witch had only facilitated the opportunity for the villagers to bid their final farewells to their families, harboring a genuine desire to save everyone. Regardless, she was callously thrown into the lake and left to die, denied even the chance for the villagers to bid her farewell. As the scene shifted, we returned to the present, where Luffin was shown tenderly caressing the legendary Black Dragon. Meanwhile, Qin and the rest of the group were astonished to witness Luffin's ability to summon a dragon. Sung expressed his desire to leave the secret realm of chance immediately, but Luffin countered by explaining that if the portal had not yet appeared, it meant that the boss was still alive. It seemed premature to depart at that moment. Suddenly, bubbles began to surface on the lakeside, accompanied by a chilling voice that interrogated the group about their actions. A massive splash of water surged towards Luffin, and the monstrous lady resurfaced once again. It felt as though she was tormented and haunted by the past misdeeds of the villagers from 300 years ago. The entire group readied themselves for battle, preparing to unleash their attacks once more. Luffin positioned herself at the forefront, accompanied by the dragon, poised to tear the monster apart. However, the monster had grown even more formidable. This marked the second phase of the Morning Grudge Lady, now a level 25 boss with a difficulty level of Hard Nightmare. Her strength had increased to 386, while her agility reached 249. Her spirit stood at 435, and her endurance at 399. She retained her previous attacks, including Lamentation Impact, which unleashed a wave of resentment with a low chance of instantly killing the target. If instant death was not triggered, it inflicted significant damage and added effects such as corpse poison, bleeding, and stun. The monster also possessed Deep Water Prison, which created a watery prison to trap its target. Additionally, there was the Body of Resentment, immune to all physical damage, and the Will of Resentment, which awakened all the zombies within the secret realm. The rogue lady found herself in a state of shock as she witnessed the secret realm boss seamlessly transition to the next phase. Even the monstrous lady had regained the ability to speak coherently and boldly challenged everyone, warning them against any thoughts of escape. She launched multiple slimy water balls, capable of restraining those they struck. However, the dragon and Luffin managed to evade the attack due to their Black Dragon bloodline, which reduced damage received by 50% and granted immunity to debuff effects. The situation proved far more challenging for the rogue lady, as she fell victim to the restraining attack. Despite the group's efforts to destroy the cage, the attack proved immune to all physical damage. The rogue lady, feeling hopeless, apologized to Qin, believing it to be the end. In response, Qin nearly broke into tears, insisting that it was the rogue lady who deserved an apology. She had been the one who insisted on venturing into the secret realm, leading to their current predicament. Meanwhile, Luffin stood just behind the lady and questioned whether, after coming so far, she was truly willing to give up so easily. Qin countered by stating that only the rogue lady possessed magical abilities, but her level was not high enough to inflict significant damage on the boss monster. Sung added that the boss was impervious to all physical attacks, leaving them defenseless in the current situation. However, Sung wondered if Luffin also possessed any magical abilities. Just then, the monster lady unleashed the Lamentation Impact, which carried the immunity effect against instant death, corpse poison, bleeding, and stun. Yet, Luffin remained unfazed by these attacks due to the overwhelming power of her black dragon bloodline, rendering her immune to all debuff effects. The mighty dragon let out a resounding roar in response to the monster, while Luffin explained to everyone that although they couldn't perform magical spells themselves, their dragon companion was capable of doing so. This revelation surprised the rogue lady, who struggled to comprehend how such a significant level difference could be bridged, even with Luffin being a dragon tamer. Meanwhile, the monster lady experienced vivid flashbacks of the torment inflicted upon her by the villagers. She screamed at the group, vehemently asserting that she was not to blame for her actions. In response, Luffin raised their hand and conjured a colossal ball of flames, informing the rogue lady that the dragon's attributes could not be compared to those of humans in any way. The boss lady prepared to launch another attack with the Lamentation Impact. However, just as the attack was about to reach Luffin, the legendary Black Dragon augmented her power through the Black Dragon bloodline, significantly boosting her strength, agility, spirit, and endurance. Luffin commanded their dragon companion to swiftly strike the boss monster while utilizing Dragon Inspiration, which increased all attributes and attack power by a certain percentage. Luffin became engulfed in shimmering golden-yellow flames as they ordered the Black Dragon to unleash the Lava Blaze attack. This relentless onslaught of flames dealt damage to the enemy while simultaneously healing both the dragon and its tamer. In a matter of moments, the monster lady began to burn, gradually turning into ashes. Not a trace of her remained in the lakeside of the Morning Village. Little G, along with the others, marveled at the complete annihilation of the monster, and even the rogue lady could feel the intense heat emanating from the dragon's devastating attack. Despite being trapped within a frigid cage of water, the rogue lady found herself unable to think clearly, realizing that whatever had occurred was undoubtedly a calamity. The boss lady's body began to shatter under the weight of the immense damage she had sustained. Once defeated, a purple portal materialized in the same spot. However, the monster lady was not willing to accept her defeat so easily. Before her demise, she unleashed the will of resentment, awakening all the zombies in the secret realm. Eventually, she vanished into thin air, leaving behind a treasure chest near the portal. Both Luffin and the legendary dragon, Xiaoyi, leveled up, and their master smiled, expressing satisfaction with their performance. The group felt a sense of relief, knowing that they could finally see the portal and escape from the place. Unaware of the boss lady's final attack, they were puzzled by the purple smoke permeating the area. However, their confusion was short-lived, as they soon turned around and witnessed the resurrection of all the zombies they had previously slain in the village. Before the group could react, the dragon swiftly flew towards the zombies, incinerating them with incredible speed. Qin, who had not yet witnessed the human form of the dragon, was astonished to discover that the girl was none other than the legendary Black Dragon. Even the zombies that had posed a significant challenge moments ago proved no match for the mighty legendary Black Dragon. Luffin introduced Qin to her pet, revealing that she was the renowned Black Dragon, Xiaoyi, who treated insignificant minions as mere playthings. Luffin reassured everyone that with the boss of the secret realm dealt with, there was no need to remain tense or apprehensive. Luffin made the decision that, after distributing the rewards, they should prepare to depart from the realm. With a smile, he explained to Qin that, following the rules they were abiding by, he would have the first choice from the treasure chest. Qin had no objections to this arrangement. Luffin unlocked the treasure chest obtained after defeating the realm boss and discovered several valuable items. Among the treasures was the Holy Light Seal of excellent quality, boasting a spirit attribute of 32 and a stamina attribute of 19. It could only be wielded by individuals at level 10 or higher. The Holy Light Seal possessed the ability to bind targets with beams of light, with the duration of the binding being influenced by the user's spirit attribute. Setting the Holy Light Seal aside, Luffin also found the Twilight Robe of excellent quality. It had a spirit attribute of 35 and a stamina attribute of 15, requiring a minimum level of 10 to be donned. The robe possessed the light flow skill, enabling the user to create a protective barrier using beams of light. The absorption capacity of the barrier was dependent on the user's spirit attribute. Additionally, Luffin acquired the Ring of Mourning of rare quality, which held a spirit attribute of 57 and a stamina attribute of 21. However, it also possessed a strength attribute of 12 and could only be used by individuals above level 15. The Ring of Mourning featured the Mourning Aura skill, allowing the bearer to designate a target to receive a status effect. Any attack from the bearer would then inflict resentment points on the target. When resentment points reached their maximum, the target would suffer negative effects such as poisoning, bleeding, and dizziness. Lastly, the treasure chest contained a rare quality class change scroll. This scroll provided guidance for non-hidden occupations, granting them a low probability of transitioning to a superior hidden occupation within their current occupation class. Luffin ultimately made the decision to choose the class change scroll and left everything else for Kin and the rest of the group. Witnessing this, the lady was taken aback and expressed to Luffin that he didn't have to go out of his way for the group, as according to the rules, the entire treasure chest belonged to him. However, Luffin smiled and assured the lady that he wasn't pretending to be a gentleman. He believed that equipment with attributes such as spirit would suit her better than him. Nevertheless, he had a desperate need for the class change scroll for personal reasons. Upon hearing this, the lady made another attempt to persuade Luffin, emphasizing that without him, the entire group might have perished within the secret realm without anyone knowing. In a kind gesture, she offered Luffin the Mourning Ring, urging him to accept at least that much for all his efforts. Touched by her offer, Luffin smiled and informed the lady that he wouldn't be so polite if she insisted. As Kin and Luffin grew closer, the dragon lady became increasingly frustrated with her competition. Nevertheless, the robe lady advised Kin that they should really return. Meanwhile, Kin's thoughts were consumed by what else Luffin might be hiding, as it was challenging for her to decipher his true intentions. The scene then shifts to a bun shop in Shanghai City, 4 hours later after exiting the dungeon. Once again, we encounter the ant. Immediately after Luffin recounted everything that had happened to him, the ant warmly embraced him. According to the lady, what Luffin had done was tremendously dangerous, as merely listening to his story was enough to make her shudder. Luffin found himself feeling a little awkward as he inquired about his aunt's well-being. He wanted her to continue hugging him, but only after he changed into clean clothes. However, in response, his aunt burst into tears and held Luffin tightly, expressing her anger at him for leaving without a word. She revealed that she had been unable to sleep for several nights, consumed by fear and thoughts of what might happen if Luffin never returned. Upon hearing this, Luffin's anxiety subsided, and he smiled as he apologized to his aunt for leaving the city without discussing it with her. He promised his dear aunt that he would no longer cause her worry, and he playfully wiped away her tears, urging her to stop crying. His aunt smiled in return and agreed to Luffin's proposition. Then, his aunt turned her attention to Xiao Yi, expressing her initial surprise at encountering the formidable dragon in the form of a cute girl like Xiao. The aunt affectionately patted the dragon, bringing joy to her, as she let out a roar with a smile on her face. Luffin's aunt leaned down towards the dragon and asked if she was hungry, as she suspected the dragon hadn't eaten well in the past few days. The dragon nodded in response. However, from behind, Luffin produced the class change scroll and informed his aunt that he had specifically chosen it for her. After completing the dungeon, Luffin desired for his aunt to transition to a hidden occupation, relieving her of the duty of guarding the bun shop. Yet, his aunt immediately declined, considering the scroll too precious to be used on herself. Luffin wished someone would convey to her how precious she truly was. Nonetheless, the lady suggested that Luffin sell the scroll instead, using the funds to purchase new weapons and equipment for Luffin's upcoming exam. Luffin, grinning widely, reassured his aunt not to worry about money at all. Without hesitation, Luffin promptly presented his aunt with his bank balance, which displayed millions of currency units. His aunt was taken aback by the sight of such a substantial amount, wondering what on earth Luffin had done to earn it. Luffin explained that he had sold numerous materials collected during their dungeon expedition, and even his classmate Kin had promised a reward of 100,000 points. Luffin assured his aunt that they would no longer have to worry about money in the future. Finally, Luffin managed to convince his aunt to use the class change scroll immediately. As soon as the aunt opened the scroll, she began to levitate, surrounded by a vibrant blue aura. Closing her eyes, she felt a sudden surge of energy coursing through her body. Luffin smiled and inquired if the scroll had worked. His aunt, returning the smile, informed him that she had now become an enchantment chef, a superior hidden occupation. Curious to learn more, Luffin asked his aunt to elaborate. She explained that she had acquired a skill that allowed her to create food with various buffs. Luffin praised his aunt, remarking that her culinary skills must have contributed to high additional attributes. However, Luffin noticed that Xiao was not present with them. At that moment, they discovered the dragon lady peacefully sleeping on the kitchen counter surrounded by scattered steamed buns, having indulged in a hearty meal. The scene then transitions to the study of the Qin family's villa, where an individual sat with a champagne glass in hand. Qin conversed with this person, sharing details about Luffin, describing him as a dragon tamer capable of summoning a powerful black dragon. Qin felt a sense of sadness, acknowledging that it was her stubbornness that had put everyone's lives at risk. However, she recognized Luffin's strength. She understood that both of them possessed hidden occupations, but the disparity between them was like that of a firefly in the moon. As the man moved his champagne glass slightly, he questioned the lady if she had not disclosed the existence of the dragon to anyone. This statement surprised Qin, and she assured the man that she had made a promise with Luffin not to reveal the dragon's existence beyond the Qin family. The man, named Shanhai and Qin's father, acknowledged her actions, stating that she had done well. He explained that if news of the dragon were to leak, it would stir unrest among those who coveted the dragon's power. Qin was unsettled by her father's smile and immediately questioned if he had ill intentions towards Luffin, despite Luffin having saved her life. In response, the man burst into laughter and reassured his daughter that he was not that kind of person. He swiftly changed the topic, asking Qin how she planned to express her gratitude to Luffin for saving her life. Qin informed her father that she had promised Luffin a reward of 100,000. Upon hearing this, the man instructed his daughter to bring a purple tong card the following day and personally thank Luffin. Qin wondered why her father wouldn't accompany her, considering his curiosity. Her father replied that he certainly wanted to meet the Dragon Tamer himself, but he had multiple arrangements to attend to the next morning. This was because the princess of the Tazi Kingdom was arriving in Shanghai City to pursue her studies. As the scene shifted, we observed a blonde-haired princess walking along the street, holding a staff in one hand. She was accompanied by a man clad in black armor resembling dragon scales, wielding a massive weapon that seemed capable of tearing anyone apart. Qin's father explained to her that due to the frequent business activities, it was difficult to avoid receiving the princess. However, he expressed concern that the princess's arrival just before the important exam might indicate ulterior motives rather than a genuine intention to study. Meanwhile, the princess and her bodyguard stood in front of Luffin's steamed bun shop. Upon hearing the door open, Luffin's aunt hurriedly approached the entrance, carrying multiple steamers filled with steamed buns. Apologizing to the customers, she explained that they were closed for the day. However, before she could continue, the princess became angry and inquired of her bodyguard if they had entered a dump. The bodyguard informed her that their investigation had indeed led them to the correct location. Luffin's aunt was curious about their identity, but the bodyguard rudely pushed her aside, causing her to fall and get injured. In any case, the princess haughtily informed Luffin's aunt that she was there to find someone, and that someone happened to be Luffin himself. Upon hearing his aunt's scream, Luffin hurriedly descended the stairs, only to find his aunt injured and tending to herself. Meanwhile, the princess disdainfully wrinkled her nose and complained to her bodyguard about the unpleasant smell in the room. Luffin was infuriated, but his immediate concern was for his aunt's well-being. He approached her and asked if she was all right. However, the princess paid no attention to her condition and continued to prattle, explaining that she had come specifically to meet Luffin. Luffin turned around and asked the arrogant girl directly why she wanted to meet him. In response, the bodyguard intervened and introduced the girl standing before them as Princess Jinju of the Tazi Kingdom, while he himself was her attendant, Hong Tai. He informed Luffin that the princess had come to meet him and offer him a significant opportunity. Curious about their conversation, Luffin inquired further. However, the princess arrogantly remarked to Luffin that being a dragon tamer must have been challenging. She still believed that Luffin had not acquired a dragon yet, smirking at the thought. At that moment, The princess's attendant opened a massive briefcase, leaving everyone shocked. Inside the briefcase rested a golden dragon egg. The princess informed Luffin that the dragon egg would be his to own if he agreed to her conditions. She smiled as she explained that in order to obtain the dragon egg, Luffin would need to become the princess's slave and comply with her every command.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content. Feel free to leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts or suggestions. If you want to stay updated on all our latest uploads, click the notification bell icon. And hey, why not check out some of our other videos popping up on the screen right now? If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It really means a lot. Peace.